Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I'm back with Dress It Up buttons and Jesse James beads to make some fun holiday-inspired jewelry with some buttons and Jesse James beads. So we're going to be using the Mickey ornaments today. We'll need 2 packs of these for our earrings and 1 pack of the Peppermints. I'm also going to be using the Rainforest mix from Jesse James Beads and the Color Trends Gunmetal Roses. So let's get started. The first item I'm going to kind of ease you into the tutorial today. We're going to be using the Mickey buttons. And for this earring, I'm going to use this cute little holly berry little Mickey. And look, the berries on the holly is a Mickey head too. So cute. I'm going to grab this larger rondelle from the Gunmetal Roses mix and some 22 gauge German style wire from Beadalon. I'm going to grab a pair of round nose pliers and move my wire all the way back to the largest part of the mandrel, and we're going to create a wire wrap loop. So I'm just going to do a little loop, but it's going to be the largest that I could possibly make with my pliers. Now if you want a larger loop than that, you would need to use a pair of bail making pliers. Next I'm going to thread on my little Mickey head so it's becoming a dangle. And then I'm just going to wire wrap that close just a couple times by holding my loop and going around the wire. And then I will snip my wire off. And we have a cute little wire, or a cute little Mickey dangle. Then I am going to slide my rondelle down toward my Mickey and do a wire wrapped loop at the top. And this can just be a regular size loop because it's just going to hang on my ear wire. And then I'm going to lock that in place by wrapping a couple times. And then once I come around again, I am going to guide my wire around my rondelle and wrap down toward my Mickey. So I'm going to come around and make that a feature of the bead to bring more gold in. And then I'm just going to wrap around my bottom loop a couple times and trim. So there we go. That's our very fun, easy earring. Next, I'll just open up my ear wire and slide that charm on and close it up. And we have a really cute, festive pair of Christmas earrings featuring Mickey. So pretty. These are really sparkly too because there is some glitter. The Mickey heads are covered in an iridescent glitter, so they're very sparkly. All right, for our next pair of earrings, I'm going to take the Peppermints set. And I'm going to grab one of our Peppermints. And I'm going to grab my hand drill. Now, these are available at craft stores, home improvement stores. You can use your regular household drill. You can use a Dremel or rotary drill, whatever you have on hand. This is polymer clay, so it'll go through pretty easily. I'm just going to drill on a white section between a green and a red, and I'm just going to twist until there's a hole in my piece at the top, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing at the bottom. This is very easy to drill through. Even a beginner can do this. And then we'll just do one directly across. Make sure to go in a little bit so if your hole comes through, it doesn't end up splitting your piece. So I drilled in about a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch in on both sides of my candy. Next, I'm going to take some 22 gauge artistic wire and cut off a piece. And I am going to make another loop that's a little bit larger than the end of the mandrels. So not all the way back, but kind of in the middle. And I am going to loop that through like we did with our Mickey. And you might see a shiny side and a dull side, and we want the dull side to be the front of the earring. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my loop and wire wrap that closed like we did with the other button. Trim. Next, the Gunmetal Roses mix has two different size flowers. I'm going to go with the smaller one, and I'm just going to slide that down to my peppermint. I'm going to do a wire wrapped loop at the top and lock that lock that flower in place. It'll spin around until you get enough wraps to lock it in place. So I've got my loop. I'm going to turn that sideways, and then I'm going to start wrapping. The flower is going to do whatever it wants, and then I just need to coax it into place and hold it once we start getting those wraps going. Here we go. And now that's in place, and we'll trim. I have an 8mm jump ring and a tassel from the Gunmetal Roses mix, and I'm just going to attach that to the bottom of our peppermint. I am going to grab an ear wire and slip that on. We have a very long dangle earring that's got a bunch of color and is super festive. So cute. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to grab one of the red Mickey buttons. You can choose which one you'd like. We have one with a little snowflake or one with a star. If you want the green one, that's fine. I'm going to go with the snowflake today. And I have several of the crystals from both mixes that we're using today, and then all of these saucers from both mixes. We won't need all of these beads, but it's nice to have the variety hanging out on the table while we're designing. I'm using some soft flex wire in a couple different colors. I'm choosing a green and a red today. And I'm going to line up both of our pieces. And first of all, I'm going to slip on an end bead, and I'm going to use the smallest bead I have, which is this green rondelle. This is the only time the end beads are the only time that I'm going to put our crystals on both pieces of our wire, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Next, I'm going to put on two of my spacers, and then I'm going to grab a red bead. I'm going to grab this red hexagon, and whatever color I'm working with, I'm going to slip that bead onto the corresponding color of wire. So red is going to go on red, and green is going to go around the red. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want the green to stand out. Next, I'm going to put on two more spacers. And then I'm going to pick a green bead. So I'm going to go with this bicone, but instead of the red, I'm going to put it onto the green, and then the red is going to go around the bicone. So now the red's standing out. Then two spacers. And I may run out of spacers, but that's okay. Next, I'm going to go with another red bead. I think I'll go with this rondelle. So then that one's just going to slide onto the red, and then 2 more spacers. Next, I'm going to go with this oval, who's going to go onto the green. 2 more spacers. Move everything down. Next, I'm going to grab this little barrel color or barrel style bead and put that on the red. 2 more spacers. So the end of the bracelet, to make it as long as I need it, I will just string regularly like I did with this green bead. And then next I'll need another green. So I'm going to go back to a bicone. Two more spacers. And then I am going to go with this red rondelle. Put it on both pieces. And one more rondelle on this side. I'm going to come over to the other side and add on some beads on this side. I am going to snip off my wires from my spools. I'll come in with a rondelle, another green bead, and another barrel. You have 2 jump rings here, and I am going to attach those to my clasp, which is a very large toggle from my Jessie James Bead stash. I want to make sure that those prongs of the jump ring, ends of the jump ring, match up to each other as much as possible. Then I'm going to take a couple crimp tubes, slide my crimp tube onto both wires, come through my jump ring, and then come back down through my crimp. And I'll go ahead and take my crimping pliers and move that down as much as possible while still leaving a nice connection point here. We don't want it to be too tight. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and slide that into the largest section of my crimping pliers and then squish. And then we'll turn 90 degrees and squish again, moving up the pliers, and do it again. Okay, and then I am just going to trim my 2 tails right at that crimp, making sure not to crimp my main wire. Then I'm going to move everything down, and I don't want it to be too tight because we don't want to crimp this in a straight line, of course. If we do that, it'll be too stiff to wear as a bracelet. Take my second crimp, slide those on, come around my jump ring and back through my crimp. And then we'll hold our clasp and pull to get that slack out of the bracelet. Now, like I said, I don't want to do this in a straight line. I'm going to kind of bend my bracelet a little bit and pull. And then I'll do the exact same thing with my crimping pliers that I did on the other side. Squish, turn 90 degrees, squish again, and squish again. And then we'll trim. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to put on our button. I'm doing a little bit of mixed metals today, but if you want to use gold metal, that's totally fine, or you'd like a silver metal button. Dress It Up has a ton of different holiday buttons available. I'm going to put my button on my jump ring like it's a charm, and I'm going to come over to my loop side, and I am going to thread that onto the jump ring that's attaching my toggle. There are tons of beads left from both these mixes. Even a rose would look really cute on here. You could make a dangle from one of your extra beads, but I think this is the cutest little holiday button bracelet. Perfect for just about any type of holiday party or to glam up any look that you're wearing during the holiday season. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Jessie James Beads and Dress It Up for having me back. I hope you enjoyed the 3 different jewelry tutorials that were in this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.